You know, us as black men are always under attack, regardless where we go. And you know, this is very disrespectful what they're doing to Michael Jackson now. And we all know that what they allegedly said he did back then and all that stuff. The parents came out and said they were just doing it for money. They got on a stand and said that it was just some money rules and it wasn't true. But as black people, when we get blamed for anything, it will always be true. You can have all the evidence proving it's not true. As soon as we're blamed for it, we're believed we're already guilty of it. And even if we get exonerated, we're still guilty of it. So you already know what's going on with R. Kelly and all that stuff. Now this is coming out. They're basically trying to make money off of Michael Jackson because the man is long dead since 2010, I believe. So it's going 8 years, going on 9 years now. I'm going to read this. I'm going to try to keep myself together while I'm reading this because this shit is very insulting to the king of pop. Always have been and always will be. No one else will ever be able to replace him. And they better not disrespect his legacy by trying to say they're the king of pop. Michael Jackson sexual abuse documentary added to Sundance lineup. That's the king himself there. And you know he had vitiligo, which is a skin deferment, and he kept trying to use makeup to match his skin, but then again he just ended up bleaching his skin and all that stuff because it wasn't working. And the makeup was sweating off when he was performing. Okay. Leaving Neverland said it will tell the stories of two boys who began long-running relationships with the pop star at the height of his stardom. A documentary about the lives of two boys who accused Michael Jackson of sexual abuse has been added to this year's Sundance Film Festival. Leaving Neverland from producer-director Dan Reed said it will tell the stories of two boys aged 7 and 10 who began long-running relationships with superstar Michael Jackson. At the height of his stardom, now in their 30s, they tell the story of how they were sexually abused by Jackson, and now they came to terms with it years later. Michael Jackson's estate has released a statement in response to the news, blasting the doc as yet another lurid production, I hope I pronounced that right, and an outrageous and pathetic attempt to exploit and cash in on Michael Jackson. The two-part 236-minute documentary is stated to premiere on January 21st in the special events category. When an allegation of sexual abuse by Jackson involving young boys surfaced in 1993, coincidentally the year I was born, September 2nd, 1993. Many found it hard to believe that the king of pop should be guilty of such unspeakable acts. Reads the description of the film of the Sundance Institute site and separate but parallel stories that echo one another. Two boys were each befriended by Jackson, who invited them into his singular and wondrous world. Seduced by the singer's fairy tale existence and enthralled by their relationship with him, both boys' families were blind to the manipulation and abuse that he would ultimately subject them to. Featuring gut-wrenching interviews with now adult men and their families, the film, directed by Reed, the pedophile hunter, they spelled that wrong, from Russia with Cash, purportedly painted a portrait of sustained exploitation and deception, documenting the power of celebrity that allowed a revered figure to infiltrate the lives of Star Trek children and their parents. The site for the directors reads, and most picture adds, the story of two families whose boys were sexually abused by Michael Jackson in the late 1980s and 90s. Though the film's description does not name the two men allegedly abused by Jackson, the estate's statement notes that Wade Robson and James Safechuck have both testified under oath that Michael never did anything inappropriate to them. Safechuck and Robson, the latter a self-proclaimed master of deception, filed lawsuits against Michael's estate asking for millions of dollars. Of course, it's all about money. Both lawsuits were dismissed. A lawsuit filed by well-known choreographer Robson was dismissed by Judge Mitchell Beckoff in December 2017. Sorry about these alerts. On grounds that the two Jackson-owned corporations, the remaining defendants in the case, were not liable for Robson's exposure to Jackson, Beckloff did not rule on the credibility of Robson's allegation that Jackson molested him when he was a child. Safechuck was a companion of Jackson who also sued the estate of 2014 over sexual abuse claims. Okay, Sundance ran from January 4th, 2004 to February 4th. You know, when you become famous, there's certain things people you gotta stay away from. And I know becoming famous, they want to put you around this person, they want to expand your career. But you gotta be careful around certain white people or non-black people. Sometimes black people too. You know, R. Kelly's going through this whole thing because, first of all, the man is mentally traumatized from when he was a child. I'm not defending him, but let's talk about the facts here. I believe if you go to Unwind with Tasha K, her YouTube channel, you'll see she did an interview with the older brother, and they both were sexually assaulted by their older sister. I forgot her name, but their older sister, I believe, the older brother said he was 6 when it happened, so I don't know how far older he is than R. Kelly, but R. Kelly was of course younger. And that traumatizes you. Anything that happened to you as a kid traumatizes you. If you were beaten, if you were raped, if you were just put under some kind of harsh treatment, it's going to traumatize you when you become older. Now, I'm not saying it was okay for him to marry Aaliyah at age 15, but her uncle did forge the thing. And they did bring their Aaliyah around him because everybody wanted fame and fortune at the time. And Sparkle, who brought, as far as the sex tape goes, Sparkle, who brought her niece around, who was in the sex tape, I believe she was in the sex tape too. I could be getting it wrong, but you know, they enabled all of this. And even back then when they was supposed to get R. Kelly, it was majority of black women supporting him. It was majority of black women who was outside the court, you know, just rooting for him to win and all that stuff. And even after then, they still went to his performance. They still bought his music, Trapped in the Closet, all of that stuff. It was majority of black women watching it. And of course, R. Kelly is a musical genius, you know. Even though he has issues with reading and writing, which could still stem from what happened to him as a child. But the man, you know, now he's under the knife and all that stuff. They open investigation on him. They're trying to stop him from leaving to Africa. They're saying he's trying to leave to Africa. But, you know, a lot of this, it was them. Now I believe all this is money grab and all that stuff. Because all these people, they started GoFundMe page with a documentary. They started GoFundMe page. Sparkle dropped a single after the thing premiered. The article, the Surviving R. Kelly thing was over. And, you know, they're trying to leak this and make money out of it. And as far as white people go, they love when we attack each other. You know, black men attack black women or black women attack black men. And I'm asking black women who hear this, please think strategically about what they're doing to us as black men. And they are using you guys emotions, because, you know, women in period in general are more emotional than men. And I'm not saying you guys can't think strategically, but come on, you can see the clear blatant hypocrisy, how they're not calling these white guys out, but they are coming from black men for black men. I'm not excusing what R. Kelly did. He is sick. He should have been in jail last year, years ago, for what he did. And if it was white people, yeah, they would have put him in jail. But black people let him go. Black women in particular let him go, get away with it. So what did you expect? But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, share the video. And this is just completely embarrassing to Michael Jackson, but his estate should definitely sue. And I believe it's sad that Sony still owns some part of his estate, and his family don't have complete control of it. But it is what it is in the business world. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, share the video. I'll talk to you.